and residents of Jackson County. And we agree with Catherine Shields in her handling this matter thus far. And we are going to present into evidence 215 signatures on 13 pages. And this was done, again, 15 minutes, we got 17 signatures. The amount of public outrage at what's occurred is substantial. So let me present that to the chairman. That's the original copy.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
With Bill, you mark these as exhibits because it's not an official public hearing.
We can mark it as public comment.
Public comment is good. Number one, yeah.
Let me hold for you.
Okay. The theme of my presentation today, again, is false statements attributed to the developer by the media, all firms. So one of the two of them, we've got a conflict of what is accurate. I want to hope to shed some light so that it can be on the official record of what I believe the facts to be. The developer has stated that, in communicating again to the legislature, that he had believed he was on his property. I have a great problem with believing he thought he was on his property. And I'm going to do that very quickly. And
I have one comment
yes,
to make before you proceed.
Yes, sir.
This legislator never had any conversations with the developer, so he's never presented anything to me. He's never presented anything to the committee. We know what we've read in the paper and what we've seen. We'll have seen the same.
Okay. First item that demonstrates that the developer has knowledge of the park boundary would be this drawing. This line down the center, while it's a little hard to see, is a section line. Section being a square mile of property in Jackson County or the state. Not a 100% square mile, but roughly generally that's it, as Mark Rosenbaum knows. This indicates that we have one plat, Saddle Ridge Estates. We have two plats, Saddle Ridge First Plat, three plats, Saddle Ridge Villas, and the fourth plat, Saddle Ridge Villas, second plat, which occurred in 2004. So 1996, 1999, 2000, 2004. This developer paid and hired an engineering company and a surveyor for the purpose of creating these subdivisions. When you create a subdivision, you have knowledge where your property lines are. Clearly, if you spend thousands of dollars, more than 10, more than 10, more than 10,000, more than 10,000 to engineer these, you've paid your money to know where the property line is. These documents are recorded at the Jackson County Recorder of Deeds. They're there for all the general public, including the media. They were paid for by the developer. I have a hard time believing he did not know where the property line was.
Correct.
Drawing number 2. Once again, Little Blue Trace Park, developer's property. The developer, again, hired engineers and surveyors, not just to do the drawings, but to mark the property boundary in the field. They do that with what they call survey monuments. Survey monuments are steel bars set in the ground with colored decorative caps on with a piece of survey tape around it. They're also marked with a survey stake. They are written on the side property corner with a marking of tape across it. The park adjoining the developer's property has no less than 12 marked property corners, which would indicate and give this developer explicit knowledge of where the property line and the park boundary is. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. I think the developer knows where the property line is. The third drawing I have is further evidence that the developer knows where the property line is. Knowledge of the park boundary. The developer in constructing these subdivisions has done more than, but no less than, 5 construction projects which indicate a thorough knowledge of where the property line is. Let me begin. To the property line, which is not a park line, but the adjoining subdivision, is part of a straight line, those 12 points all in a row, line them up, they're easy. He has built and constructed a sewage pump house, lift station, and is built to the property line. Moving northward, we have a 4-inch sewer force main that is built paralleling and on the park property line. Moving further north, we have an excavation creating a waterscape which encompasses a pond dam. The pond dam is constructed to the park boundary property line. We move further north and we have a public utility access road constructed for servicing the second sewer pump station. The sewer pump station built to the property line. This is a 100+ foot gravel road built and constructed to the park property line. The sewer line down here is about 400 foot. It's hard to miss a property line that's marked with these kind of construction markers. Further, if he had gone northward on his property to the northern end of this excavation, which is generally in this area, there is 370 foot of straight line survey stake fencing marked by 3 railroad ties on each end. 370 foot, 200 foot, 300 foot, and construction projects that indicate the developer has explicit knowledge of the park boundary. My 4th drawing showing that the developer has knowledge of the park boundary. Whoops, got out of order. And this one I kind of like because it's really fun and obvious. Again, he has no idea where his property is. But if we look clearly and get out on the site, the construction drawings for installing the force main call for a clearing, as per the construction documents, to clear a 40-foot wide path, 300 foot long through the woods. That makes it pretty easy to see. You can actually get in your car, pull up on the street, and look through the clearing and see the straight line. So we have 300 foot of wood clearing to go with the pond dam, to go with the pump station, to go with the access road, to go with the other pump station with 370 foot fence. In addition, we have 1, 2, 3 signs posted on tree trunks that say park property. He was able to find these two, and he was able to find this one up in the woods had he got off his bulldozer and taken a look. 3 park property signs, 300 foot of clearing of the woods, and I'll get back to this one on my next drawing. Now, a land swap and filling this thing in is a mistake. And I'm not going to show you everything today. I think I'm making my point with the petition and with the knowledge that's actual and factual and available on public record. We have created some hazards and found some hazards in these properties and adjoining properties. I want to point them out. First off, when he constructed the sewer line, to do so he had to clear some trees on park property. And I haven't checked for the proper permitting on that yet, but I may. But he didn't restore them. So back on this drawing, we have 400 feet of tree row is removed in the park property by engineering drawings. And this is the tree row he claims to assume was on his property because, of course, he had no knowledge of where the property line would be. Anyway, now let me move a little quicker. On the northern part of this, we have discovered a dump. It is on the park property and on the developer's property. It contains no less than 4 motor vehicles, sedan deliveries of 50s and 60s vintage. It has automotive tires and wheels. It has drums, probably chemical drums. It has barrels. It has refrigerators. It has microwave ovens. So that's a fairly recent dumping. Didn't have those in the 50s and 60s. Other appliances. It has fencing. It has building. It has insulation. It has roofing materials. And it has buckets of tar. He has furnace ducts, sheet metal. He has bed springs. There's yard debris and land clearance trees and stumps. Now, these pose a hazard to the general public. They pose a hazard to the residents of Saddle Ridge and their children. What child knows the difference between a barrel full of PCBs and groundwater? Who knows what's going to absorb in their hands? We don't know what's there, but we need to follow Catherine Shields' lead and do the proper and normal things of inventorying what's in this dump, not just sweep this under the table and allow some guy to get out of this quickly so that he's able to move on to his next project.